have this mini seminar with
This meeting is being recorded.
I'm very happy to have this meeting with Maa-amet from our neighboring country Estonia, as we have a long time thought that ProGis as the Finnish Association of Geoinformation and related topics should also be able to know and meet with our neighboring countries, and there have been contacts between people in the organization. So this occasion and opportunity now appeared this autumn very nicely. I think I won't take any more time speaking myself. Maybe I can just mention that this is part of our seminar series where we organize visits and excursions in virtual or physical format. Last of which was to the Sharper Shape in Espoo. And now we continue in more under more international signs. So maybe I give the word to Sulev quite rapidly. You have prepared to present your organization and its many interesting activities. And then after the presentation, we will have a discussion. We have quite well time, so let's take the time that we need. And in the end, I will mention something about ProGis future activities as well. But please, Sulev.
Yes, thank you for this invitation. I have been many years guest of this Paikadetamarkkinat in Helsinki also. That is very interesting event. It was. I hope you see my screen. This is a slide about Estonian Land Board with my portals. About myself, I'm working here in Land Board already 22 years. Now I'm as head of the Bureau of Geoinfo Systems. So we are responsible of web map application, web map portals and services. We publishing our data mainly, but there is much wider this task portfolio. Today, my presentation will cover mainly 4 topics. I show you our XGIS web map application portal, then introducing this 3D Estonian digital twin prototype, Fotoladu. It's the tilted aerial photos application, and Satiladu is then the Sentinel-2 data portal, and then Tanel will continue with this open data themes we will cover. A few words about the Estonian Land Board also. Land Board is governmental agency under the Ministry of Environment, and we are approximately almost 300 employees, and we have offices situated in every county center. So we have 15 offices in Tartu. There is also 2 offices. We are spread over Estonia. So main biggest office is here in Tallinn, and second is in Tartu. And structure, it's two main fields, geomatics and then real estate and cadastre. There is a lot of departments and bureaus there. So I'm from this department of geoinformatics, and here is bureau. I'm head of the bureau of Geoinfo system, and Tanel is head of bureau of spatial data service system. So we're covering this field mainly here. And land board main activities, of course, implementation of national land policy and maintenance of land cadastre. But the big part we have this geomatics or geoinformatics part, and also managing then geodetical networks, geological mapping and topographic data. So those fields are very tightly connected to each other. And here is some customers we have. We cooperating with almost with all open or public sector agencies or ministers, and also with local authorities and private sector. Our private sector are very good users of our services and open data, and also universities. And about this, because we're going to talk mainly about the data, so we have own data collecting plane with LiDAR and airphoto camera, and so we managing this production line from collected data to the end products and services, all in-house mainly. And here is this supporting network called this geodesy part. And here is again this main topics then we are dealing with. Also then these addresses, place name register, and it was not mentioned before. So I show you some slides and then give each part a live presentation also. So I'm trying to manage the time 1 hour. We calling this XGIS. We have this X road, so it's like similar web map data portal, or where we can change the spatial data then, or using the spatial data together in one interface. The history is quite long. As I said, I came to the land board 23 years ago, so it was actually my first task to start publishing the cadastre data and orthophotos through map service. So the first version was launched in 2001. There was cadastre data, orthophotos, and topographic base map. I think there was critical points also. And so we, because it was like quite unique, and it came very popular very fast. So we got funding, and then we had a new version in 2007. It was based already in open software. Only the user part, the user this interface was in Adobe Flash engine. But behind there was OGC standard services already. And because the Flash was going, or browsers did not support it anymore so good, so we had the HTML5 version, and 2018, 4 years ago, we published a totally new version of this XGIS 2, There was end of this Flash technology. It's open source based, fully open layers and self-tailored then this functionality on these open layers. And this year, a few months ago, we had a new version launch. So it's now fully running in state cloud service. Those base services, OGS services, are not in cloud, but it's a user interface and everything running in the cloud now. Here's some print screens, also different versions. First one was GeoMedia Web Professional and so on. So my main idea is that the public sector should publish their data in or it should be available in through the one user interface. And today there is over 30 thematic map application. Not only land port data is published, but also other spatial data producers in the public sector have their data available through this map application. And there is also, if the user interface is outsourced, then we have administration module. So we have in-house in our department are 3 administrators, so we can build up on this engine so many thematic map application as we need. So basically all this production line from database services and publishing the data to the map application, it's in-house, so we don't have to outsource this product line, only if we want to more functionality in map application. And here's some examples I can show later. So about this functionality, it's openly available. It's Estonian English version. Mostly those thematic maps are also translated to English, not all. And there is everything is available then in this. There is no behind the corner functionality. Everything is available in the front page. And if we launched it in a previous version, there was functionality already available. We bring it up, but we had some important changes and improvements also. I show you shortly, and then I have this live demo. So this search box, before there was you can search only the address or cadastral number, but now you can there put the coordinates or some different register IDs or point of interest, building names or different keywords, or even the different map layers. So if you put this search there, so you can have this you can have these different groups here, address response or map layers response, or if there is a different these blocks. And what you choose, then you're going to have this address on the map or this map layer on the my maps or my map layers part of this. So basically you can you have this kind of base layers complex available, and you can add different layers from a layer catalog also on the map and save it as your own map application. There is a more detailed search possibilities, and these directory layers that, as I said, we have 30 or more thematic map application. For example, I can show you Tanel going show this portal later, but we have this this one is a separate thematic map application, and you can then cross-use all these layers in different complex or maps. So you can add different layers there. And there is also user and authentication for users there who has a special rights there to edit the data. There is a data editor also, Spittle data editor and alphanumerical data editor. Or if you are like if you make authentication, then you have better support of using those bookmarks better. The bookmark is then if you put the map together and drawing there some own layers and making measurements and changing the zoom, or then you can save it to the bookmark. It's a simple URL, and all this you can represent then this same map opening the URL. You can send it to somebody or having your own work saved in bookmark. For example, you can make this kind of iframe or div integrated map window with less functionality to your homepage. We're using it in our portal also to present data. It's available through the service, so for example, Inspire services. Yes, here you can see here's all those buttons you can turn out in the bookmark, so you have less functionality and simple user interface if you like. And this part is quite important here, left down. Here you can build up your own map, even putting together those layers from layer catalog or drawing your own layers, point, polyline, polygon. And or if you have done WMS service, you can add extra layers also direct from service. Here's an example of this interfaces as how you can add the data there. And here is one example. I made some map. Here is lines, polygons, and points, and you can add then pictures or URLs also in the description of those geometries. Now it's working in a mobile also. We don't have a separate XGIS app in App Store or Android store, but it's if you open it in the browser, it's a compact size and it's working very good also in a mobile phone or tablet. And it's you can see your position. It's tracking your movements. If you're moving, it's oriented, or map is oriented even to the north of travel direction. And new thing that we published in June is you can track your route. You're starting the tracking, and then you can save it this route to my layers. And because we have open data, the data export directly from map window is also supported. So you can choose which kind of export you want, even Baltic box or selecting the features or drawing square, and different. You can export in different GIS formats then. You can compare the layers. We have plenty of set of historical maps, so for example, available in this application, or historical orthophotos. So you can simply compare even those between or with current situation. And here's an example of this maps areas. Basically, we have historical maps here, and if you click in the right side this preview, so you can change the base map, or if you zoom in, zoom out, so you can here see exact overlay, which part is covered by which map. And yes, at the moment is mainly in English, but there is possibility to add a third language also if needed. And basic functionalities available, like measuring or feedback or printing functionality. And here's some snapshot of this administration module. So it's what you see, what you get this administration module. All the data is saved in a big JSON file. You can edit the JSON file directly also, but we have this kind of visual administration module where we can put together new map applications. Okay, short live presentation also. Then the main gate is land board geoportal. Tanel will introduce it later, but here is a simple open the web map. And at the moment I have this English version available. So how all the functionality are described. Basically, you can then have here, for example, cadastral map, where the information of a cadastral unit. You can watch how the building looks like in real, this kind of tilted orthophoto, or you can see, for example, this object or this cadastral unit restrictions here. Restrictions then means where are those power lines, or here is or heritage objects, or which kind of objects making restriction of this cadastral unit. Looks it's coming, not so fast. The list is already here, so it's some pipelines and some cables and a lot of things, because it's center of Tallinn. Yes, here is something you can see. It's probably not very good example of this restriction plot. And so on. So you can have map of land use or download data. Probably one very good thing here is this metadata part. So you can see when this orthophoto is taken, what is the pixel size, when the LiDAR data is available, and here you can directly download the orthophoto, this sheet, or you can see here also which kind of older orthophotos are available, or which kind of older historical maps are available. So it's a quite big list. For example, here is 10,000 topographic map from 1984. So you can add it directly. It's a kind of orthophoto you can add directly on the map. So it's going to be here in base maps. And for example, then you can have this map layer. You can focus, for example, I take here orthophoto, like is it today? So I can directly have this kind of functionality here. So, and I turn it off now and taking it away. And as I said, if I put here, okay, you have to know those names in Estonian language, and you see here some translation issues because we used to using it mainly in Estonian language, so it seems that some names should be translated. And as I said, I put one layer here, and if I make some measurements here, for example, area or line or circle, so if I make now this printout, so everything it's saved in this printed file as it you see here. Or if I want to share now this picture with my friend, so I make this bookmark, and if I open this bookmark, so I get the exact same map here. I have this add layer and my drawings here. So bookmark basically saves the current situation, and you can even continue the work later or share it with. And I think this part here I can show you on the same. I think it's this one. Yes, no. This one, yes. Here is the same map. I draw this polygons and lines here. So basically, I can edit those data, and I have these extra fields added here also. So I can basically use it as GIS data collector or creator. So if I click here, I have link to this, for example, Google Street View, and thematic map application. So if I change here now, so I lose my maps inside, but then I am going to have the same place. So the bounding box will be the same. Or if I show this, for example, this historical maps, I started. So here is then this maps areas. For example, we can go back in time even to very long 18th century. We have georeference scanned and georeference and maps here, so you can have some historical information also here, or some Soviet time base maps in different scales. This is, I think, a very good functionality, and there is quite a long list of different data sets. For example, even the nautical charts from Transportation Agency. So you can pin together very different maps. If you have some questions about this XGIS, or I can move now forward to this 3D environment. I think it's a good time to have some questions now.
Yes, thank you, Sulev. Thank you, Sulev, for this presentation. And yes, certainly we can have some interactive part already. So I think I saw many developers of Finnish web maps, and also maybe for our NLS part. So any comments, questions, discussion? from the audience, please?
Here is also all the Inspire services available data from Inspire services also. So if there is some Inspire person available,
you can raise your hands. I try to see those also. I'm not currently seeing it. Maybe the questions are being prepared.
Okay.
Okay, I see one.
We can. Okay.
Teemu Sipilä would like to ask something, please. Teemu.
Yes, actually, Teemu Salariutta from National Land Survey of Finland.
Hey, Teemu.
And hello, Sulevo. Nice to see you. And one question about your geoportal's base maps. I see that you have many different base maps available there, like bright version of the base map and one with white roads and something with relief or shaded relief.
Yes.
So my question is, how have you decided which kind of maps you have there available? Have you asked it from your users which kind of needs they have, or is it more like that Maa-amet has decided which kind of maps you want to create?
Yes, I think this hybrid map and orthophoto are clear, and also this false color. But those three different, this map and map with white roads and this bright map came yes, from user response that I turn a little bit layers out here, so you can see that the difference, it's not so big, but here is some main roads are highlighted better. There is not much more difference, and the bright map it's kind of not so colorful, but then if I add here some objects, they are displayed better in this kind of background map. If you have like this map, then these lines are not so good visible here. That's the main reason of this one. And grayscale, it's very popular. It came very fast, very popular. The same reason to have this kind of background map that keep information but not disturb to see the data.
Okay, thanks. This is very interesting because we are currently renewing our background map and topographic map, so we are asking the user needs for our map products, but very good to see that you have this kind of products available.
Yeah, I think the grayscale map is the most popular in outside users. You have all the information here, but you can add colorful information on it, so it doesn't disturb to see the real data you want to present.
Yes, thank you. Very interesting. Kimmo Soukki, also our vice chair, has a question or a comment.
Yeah.
Hello, and thank you for an excellent presentation. I have one question regarding the layers of the map. Typically in this type of portals where you allow users to overlay different maps originally captured in different scales, there might be some, let's say, mismatch between the maps when, say, the normal citizens are using it. Do you have any experience of such an event or something like that happening? Because people don't realize that the scale can have a big difference when you compare different vector data, for example, on your base maps.
Actually, I think our data, quite good quality, or we trying to give this meta info also in each data here. So even in a scale, or even in this meta info box, what data is in this layer, and what you should how you should use the data, or but I think we don't have this kind of, I haven't had this kind of conflict, or some response that somebody is misunderstanding the data. We're trying to solve it, adding the metadata in each layer, and it's easily available. For example, here in each layer have this E button here. But mostly data is very large scale, so it's very good hyvin tarkka.
Yeah, I understand that, but my concern was mainly when you have cadastral information, which is or should be relatively accurate, and then these type of maps which are originally captured in maybe 1 to 100,000 and so on. So there is a mismatch, of course, and people who own the land may get wrong impression of certain plans or restrictions and so on.
No, I think it's not a problem. The historical map, it's or I never heard this kind of response that somebody it's complaining that my classical unit it's in wrong place in this 100-year-old map or something. It's a very good response from this kind of who's searching in the historical records of families or something. They are very good response, better. Or I don't have this kind of response that somebody is complaining why this historical map is or my classical unit is wrong place in this historical map. Okay.
All right, nice to hear. Thank you for the questions. And yes, I could ask many things also about the maps and the overlays, but maybe we continue for the moment to the other part of the presentation. I guess it was Tanel who is continuing about the 3D.
No, actually, I had 4 teams. I covered this one bigger team now. We have 2 hours, I understand.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I continue like 20 minutes more if it's okay. And
very good. As you see, I hope to sharing this session quite late. So okay. Nice. Okay. Yeah. Take your time and okay. Tell when you have a similar place to discuss again.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Short presentation about this 3D is very popular now. This Estonian digital twin, we're working on it. So we have made a prototype of this whole Estonia digital building data, and we are adding now there some extra layers also. So whole Estonia is covered this load 2 3D buildings. We used this topographic database footprints of building and the LiDAR data, and generate fully automatically then full Estonia and this kind of load 2 building models. And then we made this connection with different registers also, that you can have more information about building. For example, this building here is linked to the building register, So if you want to know the documents about this building, documented data, so you have this building register data, floors, when it's built, it's 2009 built, there is square meters, all this kind of detailed information. Or you can have this address link here, address register. So here is all the information at the building address and history of address and everything. And also cadastre unit information when it's registered, and all this square meters and intended of use information. Or then you can see also, as I showed you, this tilted photo, how this building looks like in real life. Or you can open then this in this XGIS environment I showed you. So I show you some layers more here. For example, trees. We have generated trees in some cities. So probably some of you have visited in Kuressaare in Saaremaa. Here is we have those realistic tree layer also. For trees, we used also LiDAR data to get this height and the diameter of the tree. And here is no species or which kind of tree it is. Everything this is missing at the moment yet. Or we published here also restrictions. You can see, I hope it's loading, those pipelines also. Okay, now, and cadastral borders, and so you can have this kind of almost realistic 3D map of whole Estonia. It's a prototype. We starting now business analysis. How do automate it? Make this automation happening. How to automate it? All this generation of the models. Which kind of level data we have to collect to create the models? How we have this automated change detection? Which building is demolished, which one is had one floor more, or which one is the total new building. So all this work is we're starting analysis now. But we tried, we have data available, and we tried what we get out of this data we have already to have better picture what we need more to have this automated 3D model of Estonia. Okay, and
could we already discuss about this?
Sorry?
Do you want us to discuss now? Certainly, we have many questions in mind based on the demo already, or do you present further?
Yeah, if you manage the time, I have two same kind of teams more. But we can take a few minutes for questions.
Yeah, I mean, probably 3D implementations are always interesting, and there are lots of questions about this typically. So, well, I have some, but I ask from the audience first. I don't see hands yet, but please raise your hands, or you can also open your mic and ask your question directly for the moment.
Yes.
I was looking at your trees particularly. This is also something going on in Finland. Well, for a long time about forest and tree data, but then also cartographically we are also considering representation of forests on maps. And my detailed question is that your trees seem to be quite well placed in relation to the so to say the background map or the topographic features that you have underneath. Where do they originate from? The trees, I mean.
As you see, they are generated from this same point cloud. So in a point cloud, you can, I think, can have this location or the size of the tree, and then you can generate where it's located on the earth. But I'm not the best person to talk about this 3D application or data generation. But I know, yes, we have this LiDAR data, 18 points per square meter in these urban areas, and it's looks like this is quite enough to have this kind of analytic trees. You have the height and the diameter of the tree, and you can have it's a ArcGIS online environment. You can add this then those two parameters to this block, and then you're going to have this kind of like almost realistic picture. But this tree, for example, can be pine or some other tree, not I don't know, oak or something. So we don't know which kind of tree it is. We know only that its height is 20 meters and the diameter of it's something.
Yes, it still gives certainly very much of the impression of the treeness or forestness of the environment. So it certainly is really important for the immersive experience, and really nice to see that the fitting of the trees comes so precise. Well, current day laser point clouds are certainly high quality, and you also have a very accurate point cloud there. Yeah, I saw that these are like very efficiently rendered as well. That's probably a detail about the 3D rendering, but I see them made with billboards. This billboard rendering where like layers are put onto the model, and this seems to work quite well. In fact, you have so many trees that takes some computing power to actually render those, but so this looks very good in a web map form.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions about this? Maybe does anyone has interest to the buildings, because I know 3D building work has been going on very actively in Finland as well during the latest years. So
we have very good connection with Maa-amet also, and we have working some things together already. So if somebody is from Maa-amet, then we have contacts there also.
Yeah, probably you are having this discussion already. Okay, maybe I let you continue the presentation.
Yes, because later you can contact me directly, or all those URLs there is available. But okay, the third one is tilted aerial photo warehouse. It means that if we flying with plane, so there is a third camera on the plane which taking all the time pictures like round. It's a Sony this kind of a compact camera, but there we have built some mechanism there, and it's taking just pictures, and we publish those pictures in this Photoladu application. So there you can have some search if you want to have exact place pictures about spring and this year and from this kind of height, so you can have the search. Or because there is some location issues, sometimes there is a functionality. For example, people can move the photos in right location. It was quite popular. Now the newest pictures doesn't have to move anywhere. In the first picture, the plane operator took the camera and took the pictures from plane window. So, and they're starting and moving on. But our cartographers updating the topographic database, they're using those photos to see, for example, which kind of building is it a residential building, or is it a sauna, or is it some other building. So it's the main use of those pictures are this. And here is what I saw you if you click the map, so you can have this 4 direction view of the building. And there is a part of historical orthophotos and aerophotos, and aerophoto maps are available also. For example, colleagues found that this Earth Explorer in the US, they are published some old 1960s satellite photos of Estonia, so they downloaded and we are published those photos. For example, here, if you recognize, this is Tallinn Harbor, where is now this cruise ships are, but in the 1960s there was warships only. There was not public area. And so you can have also this kind of historical look, and it's very, very popular also. I can show you live this one. This portal is the only place we're publishing this kind of live orthophoto also, that if in the spring the plane is going to fly, then after landing, downloading data from the equipments and publishing the data directly here. So, for example, if they're flying this Viljandi area 2 days ago, then we're going to have this preview pictures already in few days. Here is, as somebody asked before, we don't add here catastrophic borders. The same reason that the people, because here is some, it's not the final orthophoto. You have to work on it to have the real orthophoto. So here you can have probably some movements that you see that your border is in the wrong place, that because those pictures are very, very detailed already. And that's why here we don't publish those catastrophic borders. But I think in historical maps there is no problems with that. Yes. And yeah, if you go into this same area here in Tallinn, so Harbor, we can even click here. So we can have this random photos. It's CR, but then his this tilted view, then you can see 4 direction this picture, or you can just have this kind of moving through the photo library. It's next, and then you're going to have this, and the detail level, yes, it's quite impressive. We don't haven't yet kind of private issues, but we have moved from this library military objects. For example, you can't have military this kind of detailed pictures for military bases and so on. And yes, this historical satellite picture, for example, I showed you before. Here you can see those, and you can compare how it looks today. It's very good. Or if you can go back in history, for example, here is 1939 picture of part of Tallinn. So today it's totally different. I think it's good, this kind of historical view, but I think it's shortly it's all about. Yes, here is scanned already those not georeference but scanned those maps, then with all the information you can use. It's a kind of in-house project. One man is holding and developing this portal. It looks like this XGIS, but it's not XGIS. It's connected with the XGIS application, but it's totally different for publishing this kind of collected data online. It's some question about that.
Would there be questions? Your opportunity is now. Certainly, historical comparisons, they are always so interesting to do. And apparently you have different API services as well. Are those organized by other institutions, or is it your Maa-amet who is also setting up these historical map APIs?
This is in-house development. We have this IT house of Ministry Kemit, who's giving the support of this servers and the database side, and in whose servers those things are running. This update data and the publisher data, it's Landport side. They're giving support of this IT support to have services and licenses and all this part of thing. Here is one good example, this Narva city, which was bombed down in Second World War. Here is before bombing, and now it's and after. I think it was a picture also. And there is a team that they want to build up some quarters of this city again, but there is only a few buildings left from this historical city. And it was demolished after the Second World War.
Yes.
Okay.
Many things can be found. I'm not seeing any questions, so maybe they are to come. Maybe we continue and continue also this.
Last 5 minutes for me. So this Satiladu, it's Sentinel-2 data portal. And as you see, it's Sentinel-2, it covers a little bit Finnish side also, but we concentrate in Baltic states to have this all the Sentinel-2 data. And Sentinel-3 is then a little bit wider. And the main idea here is the data is downloaded each day, and we making then this kind of data products. So you can see closer here this information with background information, this hybrid data, and we have then different pre-calculated products of each photo. So I'm not specialist of that, but there is some kind of forestry product or water index or some kind of land cover indexes. So you can have three different maps, or if you are a specialist, you can have you can yourself have those sliders here. Which kind of data you want to take out of this Sentinel map. And here you can try yourself. Here's a part of Finland is also covered. So if it's cloudless, then you can have a picture of Helsinki also. If we are lucky, because most of the pictures are covered with clouds. I can have here a little bit more pictures. But if you see, mostly are white, so there is cloud covering. But in summertime, we have got some very good pictures also. Yes, it's quick about this Sentinel S-Hub map application.
All right, looks good. Who is mainly using this? Who would be the main user group? Is it yourself, or are there some customers who want to also really use it?
Actually, the main use is outside of this portal. We made this portal to popularize this Sentinel data for that each citizen can have a look what kind of images from this satellite is coming. But we have behind that we have this satellite data calculation center where each day, every day, there are huge calculations going on about weather data or crop data, for example, land cover, some analysis and stuff. But this portal is made primarily for citizens to show that what we are doing here and which kind of data we can produce or serve for users, so they can have idea. They don't have to have some special GIS software or knowledge. They just open the portal, click here, and see what is forest situation, for example, in Hiiumaa, if it's some cut downs for last week or something like that.
I would guess it's quite demanded, or is it? Am I correct? Because certainly satellite image acquisition can be a little bit complicated. So this certainly can make it easier for many.
Yes, yeah. You have to only know. We are adding now this kind of descriptions here. For example, if I change here some product, I think it's calculating online, so the users can have this information, what the dark red means and what this different colors means here in this product. So he can make decisions about this. But this information we are adding now. So for me it's blue, but from somebody it's giving very important information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the products must be known. Yes, satellite imaging is almost a science of its own.
Yes,
I think. All right. Any more discussion or questions? Are we quite in the end of the presentation? Did I understand correctly, or do you want to show something more?
Yes, I have this. Thank you, Guidos, yes, for listening. For my part is now over.
Aitäh. Very interesting and versatile information from your land board. And Teemu would ask a question.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks for your great presentation. And one general question. You showed a lot of interesting data sets there, and some of them were also very accurate. And in Finland, there's now a lot of discussion about the open data, and which data should be open and which should be restricted for security reasons. Do you have similar discussion going on in Estonia?
Yes, there is a working group in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so or this not Foreign Affairs. Okay, there is a working group. Yes, going on. There is discussion, and they're waiting some input from Ukraine, for example, that which kind of data set should be not openly available anymore. We don't have this kind of own decision yet, or that we don't hurry to put the data away from availability. But the discussion is going on. Yes, I understand it's going on even in European level. So open data directive level. So we see. It's very easy to put those services or part of service through the password, but behind the password, but we don't hurry with that.
Okay, thanks. It's interesting to see which kind of decisions there are coming in Estonia and also in Finland and other European countries.
Yes. But I can give you a word to Tanel, and I'll be here if we have later time or have discussion. So.
Yes, we can continue our discussion a little bit. Myself, I think I must go in a quarter an hour, but of course the meeting has been booked until 12, so there is possibility to stay and discuss when common ground and topics are found. Yes, please. What did you have in mind?
Tanel, yeah? Okay.
Okay. Good morning. Good day. Hey, and special greetings to the people I've met, Külli and Teemu Saluriota and Pyri Kätinen. I'm going to introduce spatial data what land board collects and distributes as open data. Just checking, do you hear me?
Yes.
Very
Okay.
well, and see.
Very good. And do you see the screen, or what do you see?
I'm seeing the present. Well, the not the presentation mode, but the mode with the slides on the left.
Okay, and now? The same.
Wait for a little bit. Still the same. Yes, it's not changing, I guess. But it is fine. It is quite large.
Okay, then I will continue from this.
Okay.
So I'm more related to topographic data and maps, and therefore I concentrate on that. And the other registers which are in our house, like land cadastre or address data system or place names register or any other, I just briefly mentioned those. So to start with metadata portal. Just checking to. You do have the similar interface for metadata paikkatieto hakemisto, and in our case, it was originally meant for Inspire data and services, but now we have described all the data we have in land board, and we invite the other state institutions or even municipalities or private companies to describe their spatial data, metadata here. So those, because from here, the metadata will move or synchronize to the state open data portal and also to European data portal. And as we don't have the English version of the content, so maybe for you, if you check from the European data portal, there is a machine translation to but anyway, it's we first published it last year, so it's not so, let's say, popular yet. Okay, then let's move on to the open data. We have never asked money for web map application use or VMS use, or the VMS services have been publicly available. And some of the data have been truly open since the beginning as well. For example, addresses or administrative units. And even topographic data, those were free of charge to state institutions, municipalities, and educational institutions before the changes in the Spatial Data Act. But now, almost 4 years and a bit more, all our data, I think we don't have even single spatial data layer which is not openly available. I mean, you just click and download. So that's the current situation. And the landing page to discover the data beside the metadata portal is our specialist-oriented web page, geoportal Maa-amet. Well, there is a, let's say, 3 sections. Those web maps here are, which Sulev talked to you about, different thematic web map applications. Then I'll try to open it. So do you see a web browser window now? Just checking, because I'm not.
No,
no, you don't.
No, Natalie, it's sharing the window only.
Because I was sharing the certain. I stopped sharing for the moment and try to share the whole screen. Okay. What about now?
Yes, web browser in Vision.
Okay, then if you choose a spatial data section, then you have all kind of course, it's always difficult that because in local language, for example, in Estonian, there are a lot more information, and probably in English version, yeah, it's very generalized, all the information in here. So, but if you for example click on the cadastral data, if you don't see the download button, it's not important, because if you click the cadastral data, for example, you can download cadastral parcels, cadastral units from here directly. Or if you don't want to, if you click this here, you can download LOD2 buildings, for example, whole Estonia or divided to municipalities. And if you, and all the other themes as well. And if you choose this services section, okay, it's quite short in English version, then, for example, VMS links to our data are described here. Now, and we have let's say all the data we have are available via VMS, but what concerns VFS services, then we are very modest. Now we have topographic core database layers available and some other important layers, but not all. I know in Finland it's more advanced. But we have, of course, file-based data is always click and download. We don't ask any information about from the users who they are or what for they want to use the data, or we don't require registration. And the data is you can download it from everywhere, of course, and we don't let's say reduce the amount of attributes as well. If there is we even add attributes. For example, for the topographic data, we add when the object was changed, when the object's geometry was changed, and we, let's say, expose all those coded attributes to human readable format. Of course, we remove very few let's say attributes who was modified personally, this object or something like that, but not the collected attributes itself. Okay, I pass on this slide. I already showed you. Now some kind of let's say maps also, web maps also open data. That's why they are here, and we are producing let's say hybrid map on the right and a map called map in the left, on like live basis. For example, if someone if there are hundreds or even thousands geometry changes per day, then in the next day all those changes are visible to general public in our web maps. And that makes, of course, difficult to, and also the via VMS is also not only the inside web map application, but via VMS also the same thing. And that's of course makes us quite difficult to change the maps because people are used to. We have changed it only once. The first version was quite how to say light version of the data, and then the how to one important user give us feedback that please make all the, let's say, land use and all the things a bit more colorful. So it could be you can separate them on different screens more accurately, and that's why we this is left one is a main map design, and then the light version of it, but the first version was even lighter than this, and the grayscale version and the main version with hill shading. So what we are offering, of course, we miss something like you have in Finland, where all the information is, let's say, a reduced amount of information, but it's more clearly visible because of the wider line with or bigger place names, or so people who don't see so clearly can also use it more easily. This one we miss, but we are hopefully moving to that map as well. So, and beside hybrid map and ordinary map, there is also this kind of static map called Estonian basic map, which we just extract from the topographic database and produce raster map, let's say in one step or 1 week, whole territory, and it has also different let's say designs with hill shading and monochrome. And I'll go back. And it's good to, if you want to let's say investigate how was this place or my area of interest, let's say 10 years ago, then you just open a basic map from 2012 from the, let's say, historical map application, and then take a look. And yeah, and Sulev already told you that we have our own plane. So, and we are collecting aerial images and do aerial laser scanning at the same time. So we cover each year we cover half of the territory, but let's say a quarter, let's say half of the territory, but let's say quarter of Estonia is springtime flight, and another quarter is summertime flight, as you see on the right here. And let's say something like more than 30 days flight days in total for about 1 year. And beside that, we also fly quite low altitude. It's about a kilometer altitude, and we collect data and produce, let's say, 10 centimeter orthophotos for towns and the villages. Let's say half of the towns in 1 year and half of the towns another year. So, okay, here is some remarks about that. And from the at the same time, the laser scanning takes place, and okay, and we have let's say I will switch to web again.
All right. Yes. Sorry, Sula, I'm not sure if your sharing stopped, because I'm seeing a slide with those compared maps, but now we are seeing the browser again.
Okay, you will see the browser now. Okay.
Yes, the browser is visible.
Okay, then for example, let's if you want to download the orthophotos or the elevation data, of course the data is quite big in size, therefore we have cut it into pieces. And if you want to, for example, let's say I will open the web app application to get the sheet number. For example, this one. And if I search according to this sheet number, you can see all the, let's say, normal springtime photos or summertime photos and their dates are here. And in addition to that, as we fly low altitude flights as well, then, for example, you can ask different, let's say, more generalist data distributed with largest cell sizes, for example, this 5 to 5 kilometer, for example, sheet, and more detailed data available as 1 kilometer sheet size. So if I click here, you can also download the low altitude flight orthophotos here. But of course, you should know the sheet number, and this one you can check in the web app application. Okay, and the same with elevation data. We have the full history of. Okay, just a minute. I'll take this one, not this one, but this one.
I think we are still seeing your web browser, but you would like to show something else. Is that correct?
Not quite. Do you see the elevation data in the web browser? Map sheet query.
Map sheet query and field, open text field there.
Yes.
Okay,
And
good.
Okay, then it just takes time when the picture is reaching to Finland. So we have a full history of laser scanning here, and but not the full history of different elevation models, because those we just replace here.
Actually, I think we are not seeing what you are showing. Maybe there is a pop-up window or something.
Maybe I stop share and start again.
It's interesting. I have seen all the time Tanel's screen, so it's moving.
It might be on my computer on the web browser interface of mine too. Okay. Külli is also telling she was seeing all right. So please, someone, maybe Külli, if you can tell if there is a problem, because now my screen is apparently not showing correctly. Okay, please continue.
Yes, thank you. So we have, of course, terrain models with different cell sizes and DSM models, actually DSM is made from the springtime flight, and vegetation comes from summertime flight. So it's kind of mix of two different flights, and then also the, let's say, vegetation model and some kind of slope data, and also hill shading data. So just click and download. And of course, contour lines are also available with height points on top of the hills or some other places. This each year let's say, there will be some terabyte information added to the open data portal. Okay, now I switch to presentation again. Let's see what I missed. Okay, batch downloading is frequently asked how to do it. We don't have the FTP solution, or it's not. Let's say it's not allowed, and therefore, if you want to download a lot of LiDAR data or orthophotos, then you should know the file names. Then you can make a batch file and for example use we-get to download those files one after another, and you can generate file names yourself in most cases, because if you take the map sheet index, then you can get the map sheet number from there, and in most cases it's the only variable. But about orthophotos, it doesn't work. You have to ask or turn to us to if you want to download all the, let's say, orthophotos for certain years. But it's possible. So but of course, you can always, if it's only recommended if you don't manage with VMS, for example. Now, and some statistics as well. We have, let's say, 14.5 terabyte of information available. Orthophoto history, elevation data history, historical maps, and those things which are frequently updated and replaced. For example, core topographic data. I didn't show you the core topographic data download. I'll show it. And let's say during the 4 years, 4 million files have been downloaded by users. Total of 142 terabytes. I don't know. It's good. We only count if the file is fully delivered to the user, so we don't count any interrupted downloads. And also the unique IP addresses which turn to our server. This number is increasing. Luckily, so we make something which is useful. That's good. And I'll show just in case this main core topographic data download page as well. We each weekend we update the data behind this, and you can play with it if you are interested in. Now, my favorite topic is actually also historical maps, but then I'm not concentrating on that so much. But just one thing to add. I will open the web map application. It doesn't have to be actually. Let's open the main application. It doesn't have to be historical map application to let's see, view or download the historical maps. If you click on whatever point, no, I'll click in Tartu because I live in Tartu. So you will get the familiar list Sulev already showed you. But if you download some, let's say, some historical map sheet, then it's it has it's not let's say map sheet in classical way. It's fully, let's say, scanned document, but it is coordinated, so you can use it in the desktop application. It opens in the right place, but it's always good if you have the map frame, if you have information behind the map frame as well to get the metadata or legends. Okay, and of course, let's say this place is the only place where you can download the historical maps, because we don't have the search engine in the web page for historical maps, only for topographic data. And okay, yes, cadastral data. I already showed you the in live, and Sulav showed you restriction data. I think we will share the presentation so you can later on click and do some research yourself. And also address data, yeah. All those things are, let's say, full database is always available for download. And if you want the full database, for example, for addresses, then you can of course limit the query with some municipality or something else. And we have several services how to turn to the address data system for geocoding or gazetteer service if you want to extract something from there. And most, let's say, cadastre and all those addresses, again, they will have updates on daily basis. So we normally give out the, let's say, live data. And same with place names. And well, okay, administrative units we update one time a month. So and historical I switch to historical map application. Historical yes, historical boundaries are let's switch to photo, and let's are available for different years here. For example, here we can ask information about let's say, yeah, manors, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, kind of administrative units we had, let's say, more than 100 years ago, or in the Soviet times, was, for example, some another type, kind of administrative unit type. So you can see those borders on top of the historical or nowadays maps. So some of the information, and of course, if you want to download, for example, something, then in here you can also download the objects which are inside the map window for this certain layer. And switch back to presentation. Yes, soil map. I'm not sure whether for example, in Finland someone interests on that, but it's also kind of actually historical database, unfortunately, because it takes so much resources to update the soils in that scale what we have here. And but it's used for land evaluation, and and maybe the farmer let's say, also get some useful information from here. And also we have geological data, which I don't know much about, and geodetic data as well, or we keep the state geodetic system and the network and all those positioning stations. And let's say almost last slide, just mentioning that the license we have about our data is similar to Creative Commons CC BY, and the only condition is that you just tell the users where the data is coming from, what's the date, and then what kind of data it is. That's all we asked. And yeah, but otherwise you can do whatever good things you want to do. And yeah, I'll pass this because it's Sulev already told you about all those thematic applications. And thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Tanel. Very interesting views on your data. Again, questions, comments from the audience, please. We have nicely some time still before the midday, and I changed my schedule a bit so that I can also stay until the end. Certainly some have already had to leave to other meetings during the morning, but I'm not seeing any questions currently.
Yes, it was quite general anyway.
A very interesting presentation, and yeah, well, those soil maps caught my attention a bit. They are certainly a little bit specific application area. And did I understand correctly that it's Landport who is producing them in Estonia, because in Finland it's a geological survey.
History is very, very, let's say, it's the data was collected in Soviet times, so the 60s or 70s, and Landport got the archive and then digitized it, and now it's technically, let's say, correct data topologically and so on, but it's still quite, let's say, I'm not sure how much the real situation changes. For example, if humans are not interrupting, let's say, but
probably not too much.
Yeah, probably not too much. Yes, but anyway, there are a little bit problems if someone, let's say, wants to build, for example, its house near the, I don't know, river or lake, and we have some kind of certain type of soil there, so they don't, the municipality, let's say, sees the soil map and then decides that you cannot do that, you cannot build because you have this type of soil there. So and then the owners, in some cases, they will, let's say, make new soil, how to say, proof soil excavations. Well, yeah, I don't know the English word. And
yeah, well, some drilling, I guess, is that what
drilling?
you mean?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And but anyway, it's very detailed. That's a problem to get the resources to update it.
Yeah, I believe it's the same thing for the geological data quite everywhere, and I don't know the details about the Finnish one either. Well, just a curiosity is that currently myself I'm working just close to the geological survey, who is in the same building as our research institute. FGI currently is in the NLS. So then seeing also this map every now and then, but let's see, maybe someday we will have more work. But what I know is that yeah, it's huge work, and probably updating is very slow as well. Maybe related to these drillings and soil works that are being done to the more, well, deeper to the ground, or then, well, of course part of the data is also the surface of the ground only, and the other part of the data, very broadly said, is beneath the surface in the Finnish case. But yes, okay, very wide data you have, and very widely available on all the country, and things are well in place also digitally. I'm not seeing okay, in the chat there is a question from Alpo Turunen. So what kinds of plans do you have to develop the services in the future?
Yes, probably I can answer. We're participating in this GeoA3 project, for example, with Finnish land board or Maa-amet sliders, and there we prototyping or taking to use the new OGC API standards, for example. Or in-house, we have a discussion of plans about routing service, for example, or also augmented reality how to use this augmented reality, for example, for this point of interest layer together. This kind of, or you can, or is it the answer for that questions?
Yes, please, Alpo, you can make another further question about what you were interested in more detail.
Yeah, thank you for answering. I'm just interested in basic future developing plans, nothing special. Thank you.
Yeah, the main topic next year is to have this 3D business analysis, and then move on with this 3D data development and the 3D services. I think it is one of the main goal for next year. And
it's very
all
interesting.
other things included.
Yes. Okay. Another thing. Sorry.
Yeah. All those other services are connected with this 3D analysis, and I think the 3D is most important, and it covers a wide area of services also.
This is actually interesting to hear that 3D is in the very core of your workflows, apparently, in this case. As well, thus far in Finland, the approach maybe has been to provide some targeted 3D services or solutions in cases it would be interesting. But this is certainly a good approach too, because yes, in real life, of course, everything is three-dimensional. So then things can be generalized and two-dimensionalized also from that 3D workflow, I believe.
I think that 2D it's not going anywhere. So there have to be 2D also, but we have this situation that we have how to say this building a register. What is a different ministry? They developing this 3D twin about this building world. How to have this building license and everything is there. And they are using at the moment land board 3D buildings in this environment. But they just made the download and upload their own database, but we have a plan to provide those 3D buildings through the services, through this environment to avoid this duplication of the data. So the main idea everywhere is to avoid duplication. All the data should be available through the services directly from where it's produced. So they're to avoid this kind of data duplication, and data gets very fast old if you download it and use it like as a download dataset. And that's why this 3D building web service is very important for us today.
Right. Yes. Yes. Sounds very good. A streamlined process. It can really be this way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Very interesting and nice to hear all these things. Currently, I'm not seeing more discussion from the audience, and certainly we are approaching to the end of the meeting. We have exactly 7 minutes left. So maybe we could come to the end of this mini seminar of ours, and then to begin to finish, I could say that this was a really nice event, and actually the most complete presentation of your activities, and particularly your map activities and geoinformatic activities in Maa-amet. So very interesting for me, and I could believe for many of us. So we have some collaborations between our countries and in the institutes at the government level, in the private sector probably too. But I think this was something which really gave us also a very nice overall view about what you are doing, and we had a nice user or a nice participant. Quite long participant list also. Of course, now when we are approaching the midday and are into lunchtime, many have already left, but we were many there, and we got some great information from your side. And then, of course, I'm thinking that we must keep in touch in a way or another, and also in this kind of association or third sector level, we can keep some contacts also in future, and certainly ProGis as an association in Finland is very interested to keep good contacts. By the way, do you have some kind of similar association or third sector activities in this field in Estonia?
Yes, we have this Geoinformation Association, ESTGIS. And I don't know your organization, but this ESTGIS is mostly like private persons or person-based. There is some companies also, but few only. I think 3 or 4 companies included. But in the list there is, I think, over 100 private persons.
All right. Wow. Well, it's a good community and wide community. Then, anyway.
I'll put the link there. ESTGIS, yes.
Thank you.
And we have every year we have 1 or even 2 days conference, or now it's going to be this Baltic Git. We're making these 3 Baltic states together. This GIS conference. Now it's yeah. I think it's when it is.
From my personal work, I know Tartu Mobile Tartu conference, but apparently there are many other things going on too.
Yes, I think you can have this information from this SGIS homepage. I put the link there in the chat.
Thank you. Yes, certainly we are interested about how things proceed at your side too, and so maybe with these talks we can go and look at some Estonian web pages at least and look a bit to south in that sense. And so maybe like closing, thanks to Sulev and Tanel again very much. For those who are still online, I remind about our activities next week in GeoForum Summit. We have our award seminar, opinnäyteseminaari, Monday afternoon at 15. No, it is 14 o'clock. Sorry, I must check that even myself. What is the exact time? There are so many events going on currently. But yes, it's 15 o'clock. The award seminars is 15 o'clock next Monday in GeoForum Summit in the Fair Center of Helsinki. And there are well-made theses that will be presented in this session of an hour, which is free also for the participants in Tietoiskusali. And right after the seminar, we have our honorary award to mentionable actor on the GI sector in Finland at 16 o'clock. And then at 17 o'clock, we have our autumn meeting for the ProGis Association, the official one. So all these 3 events already, please be there. And then this seminar series continues in, let me check still, it will continue in November, and the exact date is 22nd of November, 9 o'clock already. ProGis will visit Trimble and TerraScan companies, and more information will follow on our emailing list. So please keep checking our website at the GeoForum site under the GeoForum umbrella site, and checking the email is coming from our list, and then see everybody in the GeoForum Summit next week, and see Sulev and Tanel also hopefully soon in real, and also also in further contacts and further exchanges. This was a very rich event for us.
Hmm.
And,
I will send the
yeah,
presentation then to you also, that links.
please, yes, if you can, it would be very nice to have them online. We will put this recording online as we have previewed with you. Is that correct?
Yes, for me, yes.
Good. And it will be possible for people to see who weren't able to attend. And then, yes, if we can have the slides, the presentation as well, then it certainly will further enhance our knowledge in Finland about your actions and used technologies as well, because certainly we are quite technological people, and it's interesting to see who is using which technologies and share experiences on them just like this. Very good. I think let's close the session.